BKB to boot. What a jump.
Yep, and now Alliance all of a sudden with some huge momentum.
Oh, and the Necro Book's stolen.
Tier 2 tower goes down. Have the Dire use their glyph? No. Vos does have a buyback. Really doesn't want to use it here. That will harbor that BKB progression quite a bit. Funnick harassing with all the magic damage he has. Ake will mech. Double damage is up on Funnick, but doesn't really make too much of a difference. NaVi will be able to hold this without the likes of their Lycanthrope. Though Scotty now picked up on Terrorblade.
Still a very tenacious lead, and I mean, it depends on the engages. If Brew gets on a jump on Lion without getting Hex, well, he has BKB, so he shouldn't get Hex, then I think the fight easily swings to the Alliance's favor in the beginning of the fight. But if Brew gets picked off, like a quick Hex on him due to smoke vision, or even one of the supports, especially the Witch Doctor, who is the majority of Alliance's damage right now, if he gets picked off early, I don't think Alliance can win the fight.
I don't think so either. And that's the scary part with the Lion. If they can just isolate somebody, Finger will get him down to half health and just a couple of licks from the Lycan. Or maybe not licks, bites, I suppose. Puck with a Mystic Staff. Funnick starting to close in towards the Scythe of Vice. 2,000 gold there, so essentially a Void Stone away. Will be a big item pickup for NaVi. Another tool to deal with the Brew as well as the Terrorblade.
Puck looking for wards around the Roshan pit, trying to give Host yet another Aegis of the Immortal.
Yeah, what's the timer looking like on Roche? Still yet to be known. We'll see momentarily. How's Dendy's item progression? Looking damn good. He's going for the refresher. Perseverance, Oblivion Staff completed, and 1,200 gold sitting in savings. Dendy's in pretty damn good shape here.
So they can get owned by the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor with BKB, or even like I think Ghost Scepter would be okay for him, but they can actually interrupt it with Chain Frost, but still.
He is closing in on a BKB, actually.
It can do a lot of damage. It will do a lot of damage, but they've been so good at just controlling him in fights and getting the jump on Alliance. That won't always be the case, though.
Yeah, I mean, he might be a pretty valid Finger target. If they can hop in and stun Finger, blow up My Nuts before it really starts, he's a pretty key piece of their damage output in these fights. They've also given him a fair bit of farm priority. I mean, yeah, he's got some kills, but he spent a lot of time in lane farming. He is by far the most farm support, doubling that of the Lion or the Chen. Well, really the Lion, but...
They need a Hexo Wind Ranger. I think they really need to kill the Puck. Because Puck, as we saw, he kind of just stopped the push of his own on his own last time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those... Yeah, you're right. Just kind of hopped in and twice. That was all it took. Ake. Ooh, Static Link breaks before he can get any real damage. It's going to be another lengthy Roche respawn here, man. Nothing but long respawns today. Funnick scouts it out, orbs out. Minute and a half, and then we'll see another Aegis of the Immortal become a possibility. Both teams...
It's a minute and a half after 9 minutes, so it's like a 2-minute 40-second respawn.
Yes, another minute and a half from now.
That's ridiculously long.
Really long.
Not really... I don't really think it changes the game that much, though. Not this particular instance.
No, it just makes this stalemate a little bit longer. Both teams know Roche could be up at any second, and will just position around the pit. Puck will have time to grab the site, though.
That's scary.
Yes, it sure is, especially since it hasn't been revealed. So a good time to stay off the map and then hop in at the ideal window. Both teams have wards down around the pit. Observer on this side, Observer on the other. Prepared for the fight to take place.
Still no BKB on Lycan. He does have a buyback, but no BKB. A stun lock from Wind Ranger could easily spell his death.
Sure could.
But still, how are they going to kill Dendy?
Yeah, they're getting to this point where you kill one, you get killed by the other, and a 5v5 engagement for Alliance I still think is going to be rough unless it's on their terms. If the Witch Doctor is hiding in the trees and gets a really good death ward, that's a different story, but I just don't see that happening based on how well NaVi have controlled him so far, or at least until he gets a BKB. Roche coming on up here. Coconut starting to move around, bouncing between Go Black and his friend. Dendy in the front lines, using the double ultimate, refreshes right away. BKB on, will be able to live. The Brew split comes out, trying to zone out the supports. Havo still at full health in the ultimate form, but can't really find a good target. Both sides still with all 5 alive. Whoa, the Brewmaster dies as he comes back into Panda form. Now it's NaVi with the advantage. Ake stunned and brought down. Brew will buy back. Loda on the high ground, doing what damage he can here, but now he's got to turn tail and run himself. My Nuts nearby, it's Potato that gets caught. Wind Ranger goes down. High Cat, remember, fresh off the buyback. If he goes down here, it'll be bad news bears. My Nuts now brought down. Loda locked in place. It's him versus 4, and I don't think he's going to come out ahead. They'll hex him. No Sunder for you. Good sir. A 4-0 trade as NaVi once more dominate their way to a team fight at the Roche Pit. And now will claim the 3rd Aegis of the Immortal and some yummy food.
Funnick has just been so annoying in these team fights. They scouted out the Brewmaster, and as soon as they have eyes on him, everyone positions themselves to be able to get hit by the clap into the split. And he attempted it, but he didn't. He wasn't able to get it, and then of course, while he's BKB, he has to split or else he's going to get locked down. This causes Dendy to walk up the hill with a BKB and a refresher, and even with the Scotty, they can't focus him down. Terrorblade does not have enough damage, and with Frost Armor on the Razor, he has a ton of armor.
There's also just no secondary carry for Alliance. You see the Lycan and the Razor, both of them topping the net worth charts, both of them out-farming Loda. Then after that, you have this big drop-off to the Brewmaster with only 12,000 net worth, BKB Blink. Not a terrible inventory, but not really playing that same kind of secondary carry that the Razor is to the Lycan. And now 6,000 net worth exchanged in that fight, about 10,000 gold, 22,000 experience in favor of NaVi. Look at the hero level chart. Razor's level 22. Highest level on Alliance is 17.
They lost too many of the mid-game fights, and they also spent too much time trying to counter the split push from NaVi. And I mean, it's a really difficult position to be in. You don't want Funnick to just run amok on your side of the map. But at the same time, you also don't want to just constantly TP back and defend and then let them get Roshi and let them farm their own jungle and Ancients without having any sort of response to that.
Yeah, Loda, item progression pretty much neutered at this point. Just sitting on the Scotty Manta, really losing a lot of that momentum. Up top, Pycat and Funnick having a little fun. Private dance party for 2. And meanwhile in the mid, NaVi just going for the high ground. Dendy with the first ultimate refresher, still on cooldown for another 30. And this mid lane of Barracks exposed and starting to take a lot of damage. There is a glyph available for the Radiant. Funnick still keeping the Brew busy up in the top. BKB used by Dendy as My Nuts uses the Death Ward, does some decent damage, but now the Chain Frost starts bouncing. Zones out Alliance, and their Barracks in the mid will fall without a glyph being used. No kills coming out on either side, and NaVi will be happy with that as they head back to their side of the map.
40 armor on Havost. And this is where you really would like more magic damage, but their magic damage consists of Maledict and Wind Ranger with Maelstrom proximity.
And Thunderclap, I guess.
So I mean, this is where the list pick is like really good, having an mass armor for your team.
Yep, it sure is. So things getting even worse for Alliance here as NaVi continue to tighten the noose. There is still one outer tower remaining, the tier 2 in the bottom.
They didn't use any cooldowns for that though. I mean,
well, the Chain Frost, but they traded it for the Death Ward, so pretty even.
Yeah, and Razor has his ultimate up again. Lycan still has the Aegis.
Not only does Razor have his ultimate, but this time he has the double ultimate. Refresher was still on cooldown for that.
This is the fight that they have to take, or else it's sort of crippling.
Yeah, here we go. Dendy, double ultimate on, goes to the high ground. There is still a glyph. Alliance were smart to save it last time around, but still this tower will take a lot of damage. Pycat hops out of the base with the BKB on right away, tries to zone out NaVi. The rest of his team not hopping out quite so eagerly, and the Brew just gonna get focused down. Pycat's dead already through the split. Now Loda, hexed up, in a lot of trouble. Can they bring him down fast? Vanscore still has the finger, starting to get focused by Ake. He will actually fall before the finger. Havost goes in a little too deep, gets brought down, but remember, he's got the Aegis, so he's coming back up. Dendy's ultimates have expired. Now the tier 3 will become the focus. Looking at the buyback status, none used from Alliance yet, nor have they needed to. Barracks now exposed, taking a lot of damage. They've glyphed, and the melee will fall. Potato hexed up, taking some clicks. They're just trying to zone him out. All NaVi really want here are the Barracks. Chain Frost will fly through, forces Alliance to split up, and that will sound the retreat for NaVi, now with 2 lanes of Barracks in their favor.
Alliance's DAC hopes are getting squashed.
Yeah. They sure are.
Too much push from NaVi. The Lycan, I mean, how are they supposed to kill him? 2400 HP. He was just straight attacking the Witch Doctor during his ward, and Witch Doctor was at like 80% HP. And yeah, he eventually fell, but it just took so long. This was with Loda beating on him at the same time. And meanwhile, you have Dendi unchecked in the back, just right-clicking towers with his double ultimate on, and it's just not a good story for Alliance this game.
Definitely not.
And of course, Pycat dying during his ultimate.
That just shows how much this brew has fallen off. The comparison I made earlier, even coming to light that much more. It's a tough game for Pycat at this point. And with every fight like that, NaVi further their lead. Their main cores get bigger and badder. 20,000 gold, 30,000 experience. Can Alliance even turn this one around? This feels like a pretty big throw from what would be a big throw from NaVi if they somehow managed to lose this one. I guess bigger throws have happened, but well, still a cheese. They passed the cheese to the post now. Also,
they went for non-risky items too. Lycan has the cheese now that the Aegis has been used. He has an Necro as well as his BKB. So you know you have 2 BKBs on your important heroes. You have Yules and Blink and Scythe on your Puck, and you know everything's shaping up to be pretty good for them. Goblak has his Force Staff, so they have a lot of defensive tools for them. Vanscore has a Ghost Scepter, so he doesn't get focused down by Blue or the Witch Doctor ward.
Just look at up top right now. NaVi pressuring bottom. Funnett's just up top playing Ring Around the Rosie with Pycat and Loda. He just keeps poking them, blinking out, poking them, blinking out, keeping the Brew from being able to TP and defend. Loda will move into the trees and hop out, but this is what they did in the last fight. Funnett just keeping them busy. Meanwhile, in the base, Minot's getting dove by Dendi. The all-heal from Chen, not enough to save him. Mech comes out just a little too late. No clip. The bottom lane of Barracks falling very quickly. The Brew is still nowhere to be found. Finally makes it back to the base, but the tier 3 tower's already gone down. Witch Doctor buys back to get right back into it here. Uses the Death Ward, interrupted right away. Now Dendi with the refresher. Double Eye of the Storm. Wilsey comes back down from the Brew Tornado. Potato barely lives, but not for long. Caught inside of the Yules, and well, should be brought down. Buyback now from the Brewmaster Alliance, putting everything they can into this defense, but it just isn't enough. The Barracks are going to get cleaned up. Minots will die again. All the buybacks being used, and Minot's going to call it. GG, well played as Alliance tap out in Game 3. NaVi going to China.
Off to the bitter end.
Wow, what a series. Game 1 in particular. If you didn't watch it, you just hopped right to the Game 3. Go back and watch Game number 1. An intense match. Well fought all the way through. And hey, even though El Clasico is not that same grudge match it used to be, still a damn good series.
Yeah, very well drafted by Goblak, and everyone on NaVi pulled their weight in this series. Impressive run by them. And we'll continue on tomorrow.
Yeah, so what's coming up next here, guys, is, well, nothing today. We're done, but the next round of the DAC European Qualifier, it's coming to the end. We've got NaVi facing off against Power Rangers for the lower bracket finals. Loser will still be going to China as a wild card. Winner will be moving into the grand finals to face Hellraisers in that best of 5, where Hellraisers are already 1 game up with that winner's advantage. So I believe the Power Rangers NaVi game is coming up tomorrow. The grand finals, got to double check the schedule. I don't know off the top of my head, but that wraps it up, man. A good day of casting, lots of long games, and plenty of odds for y'all to catch up on. All of them except this one are already up on YouTube, youtube.com/BeyondTheSummit TV. So if you missed any of the games, you can find them there. I'm Zayori, joined by Merlini for the last 2 BO3s today. If you enjoyed the cast, follow us both on Twitter, @ZayoriTV, @MerliniDona, and remember to follow at Beyond the Summit as well to stay up to date with all things happening in the studio and Fort